I call the regular meeting of the Ascension Parish Council Thursday, September 15th to order, please. Our invocation tonight will be led by Ms. Sherry Kinchin, Human Resource Director, Ascension Parish.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the many blessings we receive each and every day. We ask that you provide divine guidance to the leaders of our parish, state, and country as they make decisions that will affect the lives of their citizens. Lord, as we reflect back on the anniversary of 9/11, let us never forget the citizens who were lost that day. Give comfort to their families as they continue to grieve. We ask that you watch over our men and women serving in uniform around the globe. Keep them safe from harm and bring them home safely to their families. Father, for those American soldiers who have paid the ultimate sacrifice, we ask you to embrace these heroes as they come into your kingdom. They died to guarantee the freedoms we enjoy. Give peace to their families who mourn the loss of their sons and daughters. Let us never forget that freedom is not free and offer thanks that every day young men and women volunteer to fight for those freedoms. Father, touch the heart of every American in hopes that they will offer their service to their communities and help those citizens in need. And Father, we ask that you give strength and perseverance to our teachers who have the task of educating our future. Walk with us daily and keep us on the path of righteousness. We ask that you offer peace and comfort to the family of Brittany Griffin, who passed away, a Santa Maria High School student. Her parents are Randy and Wendy Griffin. We ask all these things in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Sherry. Tonight our color guard will be from Santa Maria High School, Santa Maria ROTC color guard, led by Captain Beaver. It is Eric Swan, Devin Robinson, Nick Jimenez, and Alton Delholm. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, gentlemen. Roll call, Ms. Sinman. I have Councilman Randy Kluart, who is out of town, and Councilman Oliver Joseph is missing.
Chairman Bell,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to offer a motion that we move agenda item number 8 to 4A.
I have a motion to move item 8 to 4A. Do I have a second? I second. I have a second by Councilman Todd Lambert. I got any objections? I'll need a roll call, please.
Councilman Cullen.
Yes.
Councilman Dodd.
Yes.
Councilman Joseph.
Here.
Councilman Vincie Lambert.
Yes.
Councilman Todd Lambert.
Yes.
Councilman Chris Moore.
Yes.
Councilman Shake Snyder.
Yes.
Councilman Adrian Thompson.
Yes.
Councilman Valentine.
Yes. Okay, I do not have any chair additions. Public comment period 4A. I do have some people. Item 8, I have 2 speakers signed up. First will be Catherine Goplet.
Is this not a public hearing, sir? Yeah, you need to read it. That's, the public hearing
Go
is
ahead,
item 9.
read it off,
Thank you.
Tony.
Okay, the purpose is to amend the Ascension Parish Unified Land Development Code, Appendix 2, Development Code, Section 17-2038, Small Plan Unit Development, and Traditional Neighborhood Development Overlay Zone. Whereas Ascension Parish is a local governmental subdivision as defined by Article 6, Section 44 of the Louisiana Constitution of 1974, and whereas Parish of Ascension is the governing and responsible body over the zoning and regulations within this jurisdiction, and whereas Article 6 of the Home Rule Charter of Ascension Parish adopted May 4th, 1993, identifies the process and manner in which to adopt ordinances regulating the lands of this parish, and whereas the official Land Development Code for Ascension Parish was last adopted on February 18th, 2010. Now therefore be it ordained by the Ascension Parish Governing Authority that the Unified Land Development Code of Ascension Parish, Louisiana, Appendix 2- Development Code, Section 17-2038, Spud, PUD, T&D Overlay Zone is amended as follows. Deletions of Section 17-2038, Spud, PUD, T&D Overlay Zone. The entire section. Severability. In the event that any portion of this ordinance is ever held invalid or unconstitutional for any reason by any court of competent jurisdiction over it, such portion shall be deemed as separate, distinct, and independent provisions and shall not affect the validity of the remaining portions of the ordinance.
Motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Councilman Todd Lambert to open public hearing, second by Councilman Adrian Thompson. Anyone wish to talk on this item, please come forward. You'll be allowed 3 minutes, sign in with Ms. Simon. My first speaker will be Ms. Catherine Goppel.
Good evening, Council. After over 1 year of public discussion related to the planned unit developments in Ascension Parish, it is indeed satisfying to be standing before you with the opportunity for this Council to repeal the overlay that now exists in District 1, 2, and 3. The Planning Commission unanimously made this recommendation to you. This should speak volumes. Last night, the Planning Commission accepted the pre-development application for the Hummus House project on the condition that tonight this Council will repeal the overlay wherever it exists. This project is a prime example of how the PUD overlay negatively affects and takes away property rights of each and every citizen throughout the affected area. PUDs allow for higher density than is presently allowed in our zoning codes and can set aside all other regulations that are normally in place for developers. For those who are not familiar with just what this overlay does, I will give a short summary in order that the public may understand just how grievous this part of our code has been. 1, any lot in the overlay, 3 acres or more, or up to 10 acres, must be a PUD. Only 5 divisions of property for family partitions are allowed. 3, it puts the highest density of development in the lowest density we have in our codes. Most of the land in this overlay is conservation, which allows 1 house per acre. In May of this year, had you repealed the PUD ordinance, we would not be having this discussion today. Pelican Point is an example of high-quality development that was built with our subdivision ordinances. Pelican Point is not a PUD. Pelican Point was developed long before PUDs ever came to Ascension Parish. We don't need the PUD ordinance or this PUD overlay to continue to grow responsibly and preserve what rural character we have left in Ascension. What we need is planning staff who will consistently apply codes, treat everyone the same, and not discriminate in the process. Then we need elected officials like yourselves who will respond to the people and make any changes necessary in the codes to protect the property rights of all citizens. I respectfully ask that you repeal the SPUD, PUD, and T&D overlay wherever it exists. Thank you.
Mr. Harlow Johnson, please.
Thank you, Council, for allowing me to speak and address you. I live in District 2, and I'm not new to you all, nor to this issue. We have been fighting clearly for over a year on this PUD overlay, as we feel as citizens affecting our land rights. And as an owner of land and property in District 2, I feel that's just having the overlay over 3 districts instead of all 11, already that shows the level of discrimination. Now, this going door to door, listening to people and their concerns, this PUD overlay affects people and they're concerned about their property rights. You know, this whole thing, Mr. Shakespeare, is coming from the strategic planning and this push and these initiatives of coming. And I hope that you have been listening as I have been listening to the people of District 2. This is not something that we want. And again, we wouldn't be here challenges around the homeless house issue had the council dealt with this issue like the people had asked instead of delaying it. So I'd ask that you respectfully get rid of it. Thank you.
Ms. Teresa Robert?
Thank you. For almost 2 years, or a year and 8 months, citizens have repeatedly begged to have this PUD overlay removed from our district. Affected citizens have diligently worked through the planning process for the past 5 months trying to have this discriminatory overlay removed from our property. It discriminates against property owners in District 1, 2, and 3. It is spot zoning. It has been clearly demonstrated that this overlay has caused problems for many landowners. We had an example of that last night, Homeless House. Citizens are hopeful that you will repeal the overlay wherever it exists. Your consideration should be to give relief for every property owner that has been limited with additional restrictions on their property over this period of time. And we ask you again to please represent the will and the wish and the rights of Ascension Parish residents.
Mr. Lynn Whitmer? Excuse me, miss.
My name is Lynn Whitmer. I live in San Mo area, and my councilman is Mr. Randy Cluott. The PUD overlay has been a bone of contention for residents for over a year. We've been asking that this overlay be repealed. Residents want a complete repeal, take the overlay off in all the districts, and this way everyone's treated the same. It's time for you, our council, to listen to the people, not just because one man's project is struggling to get off the ground. Treat all the people fairly, listen, and take off the overlay that is restricting the private property rights of every property owner everywhere this overlay exists. I ask that you repeal the SPUD, PUD, T&D overlay tonight and to work to repeal the PUD ordinance as well. Thank you for listening, and I will be watching to see how you vote. Actions speak louder than words. Thank you.
Mr. Phil Gaucher?
Phil Gaucher, I live in District 2. The PUD ordinance is an unjust law. The PUD overlays apply to specific areas in the parish, deprives parish citizens of their property rights for no good reason, and is a hindrance to legitimate beneficial growth in the parish, such as the proposed homeless house project. The PUD ordinance should be abolished. Please vote tonight to completely abolish this ordinance. Thank you.
Mr. Billy Aguilard?
Thank you, Chairman and Councilman. Let's just put all our political differences on the side tonight. Let's repeal this PUD T&D overlay district. Let's go on and get this done quick so we can all go home and watch the LSU football game. Thank you.
Lester Kenyon? Not seeing anyone else to talk in public comment, I'll need a motion to close.
Motion to close.
Got a motion to
Second.
close?
Second.
Councilman Adrian Thompson.
Second.
Second by Councilman George
I'd
Valentine.
like to offer a motion to remove the SPUD, PUD, T&D overlay off District 1, 2, and 3.
I'll second that.
Got a motion by Councilman Adrian Thompson to remove the overlay off of Districts 1, 2, and 3, seconded by Councilman Dennis Cullen. Any discussion? Any objection?
Pat.
Yes, sir.
This is the first time this has come before this council. I've been totally against the PUD, SPUD, and T&D overlay from day one. But this is the first time this has come to this council. And I want to thank you gentlemen for supporting me to remove this off the books. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Anybody else? Any objection? Ordinance is adopted. Next, we'll move into our parish president report. Mr. Martinez?
Can I get in the presentations, please, first? I have presentations.
All right, I had so much scratch on here, I missed it. First proclamation, Recovery Month in Ascension Parish. Ms. Suzanne Hamilton, Director.
Celebrating September, National Recovery Month in Ascension Parish. This coincides with National Recovery Month nationwide. Recovery Month spreads the positive message that behavioral health is essential to overall health. That prevents works, treatment is effective, and people can and do recover.
Yeah, just wanted to, first of all, thank President Martinez, Council Chairman Bell, and all of the council who've given us so much support over the years. And we just wanted to share with the entire parish that September is National Substance Abuse and Alcohol Recovery Month. And we want to highlight that in Ascension Parish, that we have an excellent resource here in Ascension Counseling Center. We provide mental health and substance abuse treatment. And that treatment is, the agency, as you know, is supported by a property tax millage in this parish. It's something that this entire parish has said is important and they support. And so we want to encourage you, if you believe that you or someone you love has a problem with alcohol or other substances, you know, there's quite a lot of eating and drinking in this parish that we celebrate, even going to the games and watching the games. It can, at any point, just cross over the line to become a problem for anyone. If you suspect that it has become a problem for you or for someone you love, give us a call at Ascension Counseling Center. We work with people exactly like you all the time, and treatment does work. People do recover and get their lives back in line. So we want to encourage you to give us a call and thank the council and the parish for your support.
Suzanne has an excellent staff, does an excellent job. I tell you, when you took over, mental health was pretty much in shambles. You've done an excellent job in putting that department back together and bringing faith in it. And you've done, as I said, an excellent job. So I want to commend you and the entire staff on a job well done. I'm going to read this proclamation now. Proclaimed September 2011 as National Recovery Month in Ascension Parish. Whereas behavioral health is an essential part of our community's overall wellness, and people can and do recover from substance abuse and mental disorders. And whereas substance use and mental disorders are treatable, and people should seek help for these conditions with the same urgency as they would any other health condition. And whereas all Ascension Parish residents have the opportunity to gain help through Ascension Counseling Center that will improve their behavioral and emotional health at a reasonable cost. And whereas in 2010, 750 parish residents received 8,685 services at Ascension Counseling Center for substance use or mental health program. And whereas to help more people achieve long-term recovery and learn how recovery positively benefits the parish's overall being, the Parish of Ascension invites all residents of the parish to participate in National Recovery Month. Now therefore be proclaimed, I, Tommy Martin, as President of the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereunto proclaim the month of September 2011 as National Recovery Month in Ascension Parish. prevention works, treatment is effective, and people recover. Suzanne, thank you.
Next, we have a certificate of achievement. Rick Weber, Ms. Rachel Wilkerson, Ms. Crystal Moore, and of Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness.
Okay, this is a very important department of our parish government. When Hurricane Gustav hit and Katrina, they were out there. They were the first responders getting out, doing what needed to be done, and they've received many awards and accolades for the job and performance that they've done. So Rachel and Crystal each received Louisiana Emergency Manager certifications during the Louisiana Emergency Preparedness Association conference in May in New Orleans. Each received their certifications following 4 months of intensive training that included 2 separate programs. OEP Director Rick Weber recently received the President's Award 2011, which is the highest award given by the Louisiana Emergency Preparedness Association. Rick received the award in May during the Louisiana Emergency Preparedness Association conference held in New Orleans. The President's Award is given to an individual in the statewide emergency management industry for providing outstanding services to the state of Louisiana and to the local community. Congratulations to all 3 of you, and again, a job well done. Makes my job a lot easier. Rick?
Just real briefly, Parish President, members of the council, I just want to thank you for the recognition and tell you how proud I am of these two, Rachel and Crystal. They had to take over 40 classes, a written examination, participate in a capstone exercise that validated everything that they were taught. I know it's going to pay dividends for them as well as the parish. Thanks again for the recognition. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Got these certificates, Rick Webb, Rachel Wilkinson, and Ms. Crystal Moran. Thank you all. Thank you for the job well done.
Thank you.
Two pictures. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1, 2.
Next, I want to call 2 special ladies up here, Ms. Adeline Guidry and Ms. Joyce Lesher. They're both with the VFW and Dallas Post 3693. Ms. Guidry was recently commended for her fundraising efforts through VFW Post 3693 for cancer aid and research. Ms. Lesher is the chairperson for the Voice of Democracy program and the Patriot Pen Essay program, 2 programs that are implemented in our Ascension Parish schools. They've both done an excellent job. I think last year you won a national award, which was a job well done. Both of them won. Anyway.
I'd like to thank Council Bell for inviting me and President Martinez. And I do this cancer aid program because my family's had cancer. I'm sure everyone in this room had someone in their family that has cancer. And I'm chairman again this year, so I'm going to be out again this year asking for donations. Thank you again.
And let me say, it's hard to tell you no. So anyway, Ms. Lesher.
I can speak without that. I just came to Penn and Boston and Mockridge again, so I'll be going around to school. My job's a little bit harder than what hers is, because I got to make so many trips. But I tell you what, if y'all read some of those essays the kids write from the 6th to 8th graders for Patriot Pen, you'll be shocked. And the Voice of Democracy too, from the 9th to the 12th grade. Of course, we give them trophies and some money. And they're really nice. I asked Tommy Martinez to come to our It'd be sometimes in April after we get all this going from chair to chairman. But I'm hoping to take first place before the democracy. Patriot P, I took first place.
I'm going to call on the scouts to come up and read one of the essays from a sixth grade child.
President Martinez, I'd like to announce Troop 67 that's coming up right now. They are observing parish government for their merit badges.
Patriotism. I believe patriotism still matters and will matter until the end of the world. I believe that it matters when we are in war. I believe this because soldiers must support the value of our country. In turn, we support our soldiers by sending them wishes, prayers for safety and strength, and to make the right decision. Patriotism is also important in times of election. I feel that way because during an election, we need to know which candidate helps our country the most. It is our right as a citizen to elect someone who will keep the values and traditions of our country alive.
Patriotism matters because it helps protect others in our country. Patriotic heroes are important to keep our country alive. Patriotism has soared since September 11, 2001. Because of patriotic heroes, our country was able to come through such a devastating time. The love and courage of our heroes will be felt forever. Patriotism is also felt in terms of love shown towards people, an embrace or a comforting hand when someone needs it. Patriotism is showing great respect for a person who is willing to serve his or her country.
Patriotism still matters for everyone, even though those not in the armed forces. Displays of patriotism are just as important in our local community. Hanging an American flag in front of your house or placing your hands over your heart are two simple ways to show patriotism.
Patriotism still matters for the future of children in America. We must ensure that our children have the freedom of speech and press. We must make sure our children have a voice. Our children need to be able to get a good education. All the children of America should enjoy life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness through the acts of patriotism today. Patriotism still matters and will matter for eternity.
Thank you. Hey, to Miss Adeline Guidry, Cancer Aid and Research, VFW, Gonzales Post, 3693. The Parish of Ascension is proud to present the Certificate of Appreciation to Miss Adeline Guidry for her efforts in raising money and securing grants for cancer aid and research. Ms. Guidry placed first in the state out of 17 VFW auxiliary posts in raising money and helping members with cancer secure grant funding to help with medical expenses. We join Council Chairman Pat Bell and the entire Parish Council in congratulating Ms. Guidry for her kindness, hard work, and dedication of helping those less fortunate in Ascension Parish. Ms. Guidry. Ms. Joyce Leshise, Voice of Democracy Program, Patriot Pen Essay Program, VFW, Gonzales Post, 3693. The Parish of Ascension is proud to present the Certificate of Appreciation to Ms. Joyce Leshise for her efforts as chairperson of the Voice of Democracy Program and the Patriot Pen Essay Program. As chairperson, Ms. Leshise visits schools across Ascension Parish, offering the Voice of Democracy Essay Program to students in the 9th through 12th grades. Students in the 6th and 8th grades are encouraged to participate in the Patriot Pen Essay Program. Essays are then judged on a statewide level, with monetary prizes being awarded. We join Council Chairman Pat Bell and the entire Parish Council in congratulating Ms. Leshise for her hard work and dedication in instilling the concepts of democracy and patriotism while working with the students of Ascension Parish. Ms. Joyce, thank you. And I just want to say that Ms. Joyce's husband, Mr. Joe Leshise, was one of the people that helped us get Veterans Park going and actually built. And he was a great patriot of Ascension Parish, and we miss him dearly. He was a good friend, not only a patriot. So, Ms. Leschuse, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, I ain't got my agenda.
3 pictures. On 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 1 more. 1, 2. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Next, we have a proclamation, Ascension Fund Day. Dr. Elizabeth Neely, please.
And Brad Walker from the Ascension Fund.
And Brad Walker.
Which do an excellent job in Ascension Parish, gives out grants to different teachers for different programs and different schools, and it's been around, and I'm proud to say that I'm in the Rotary Club of Gonzales that actually sponsors this and started it. So, State of Louisiana proclamation to proclaim October 6, 2011 as Ascension Fund Day in Ascension Parish. Whereas the Ascension Fund is a nonprofit organization that provides grant money to public teachers and schools in Ascension Parish, whereas the Ascension Fund was established in 1991 as a project of the Rotary Club of Gonzales and is guided by a board of directors, while invested funds are overseen by the Baton Rouge Area Foundation. And whereas the Ascension Fund engages community leadership and resources to advance public education in Ascension Parish, all the while believing if you want to improve the power of learning, you must improve the power of teaching. And whereas the Ascension Fund builds teacher leadership, improves the performance of our schools, and strengthens parish, parent, and community involvement. And whereas, while celebrating 20 years of funding teaching excellence by awarding more than 1,000 grants totaling more than $1.2 million, the Ascension Fund all allows us to support our teachers and schools to ensure a quality education for all our children of Ascension Parish. Now, therefore, it be proclaimed, I, Tommy Martin, as President of the Parish of Ascension, State of Louisiana, by the virtue of the authority vested in me, to hear and to proclaim October 6, 2011, as Ascension Fund Day in Ascension Parish. Ms. Neely.
Well, I'd just like to thank everyone here, Mr. President, council members. Thank you so much for recognizing the good work that everyone has done in Ascension Parish to support the teachers and students. We have a wonderful parish, and Brad Walker is here to represent our board. We have a tremendously supportive board of directors, and thank them. Brad, would you like to say something on behalf of the board?
Well, I'd just like to thank all the teachers and stuff that apply for the grants. If the teachers wouldn't apply, we wouldn't be able to give the money out. So I'd like to thank all the teachers of the parish and also continue to apply. Every year we give out about $54,000 to teachers in the public schools every year. So we plan on continuing that for the next 20 years. So also on October 6th, we'll be having a steer and beer event at Lamar Dixon. If you would like to attend the steer and beer event, it's raising money to go toward the endowment that helps additional funds to the teachers. So thank you.
Thank you all. Good job.
That's it, Mr. President.
That's it.
Okay.
I have a report.
Next, we have the parish president's report, please.
The only thing I have is tonight is to congratulate Fire District Number 2 in Donaldsonville. Their fire rating went from a 5 to a 4. Thus, the insurance in that area is going to go down drastically. And I just want to commend them, take this opportunity to commend them for a job well done.
Next, we move to item 7, consent agenda. I'll need a motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman George Valentine. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion passes. Item 7.1, authorization to bid the County Road Drainage Improvement Project, East End.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman Benny Johnson. Any discussion? Any objection?
Close.
Huh?
He said close enough.
Oh. Motion carries. Item 7.2, request for qualifications, Sorrento Sewer Improvements, Engineering. Ms. Martha Got a motion by Councilman Adrian Thompson.
Second.
Second by Councilman Kent Shakespeare. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next, we move to item 11. Ms. Tony?
This is to amend the Ascension Parish subdivision regulations, section 17-405D2. Whereas the Parish of Ascension has in effect a comprehensive plan of zoning, and pursuant to that plan, a parish-wide development code was adopted by the Ascension Parish Governing Authority, which became effective on June 1st, 1999. Whereas the Ascension Parish Development Code provides for a procedure for its amendment of the Development Code and related regulations and restrictions by initiation of the Parish Planning and Zoning Commission. Whereas the Parish Planning and Zoning Commission has initiated an amendment to Section 17-405D2 of the Ascension Parish Subdivision Regulations to define certain sign requirements for developments. Now therefore be it ordained that Section 17-405D2 of the Ascension Parish Subdivision Regulations is amended as follows. Public notice requirements. Notice of the time and place of the public hearing shall be mailed by certified mail to the owner, subdivider, and all adjacent property owners by the Planning Commission staff. The public hearing shall also be advertised in the official journal. Prior to the preliminary plat being reviewed by the Planning Commission, the following sign requirements for public notice by the developer shall be met. Sign must be weatherproof. Sign must be posted in location nearest each public right-of-way to the proposed development and located with no obstruction within 25 feet. Sign must be a minimum of 6 feet length and 4 feet height in size, and must be a minimum of 5 feet off the ground when installed. Sign must have a yellow background with black letters. Sign must state the following information: name and type of proposed development or subdivision, 4-foot letters. The total number of proposed lots, 3-foot letters. Application developer's name, 3-foot letters. Public hearing date and time, 4-foot letters, and location, 3-foot letters of the public hearing with respect to the proposed development subdivision. Signs shall not be posted in public street right-of-ways. Signs shall be installed adjacent to the property line of the proposed subdivision at least 2 weeks prior to the date or dates of the public hearing or Planning Commission meeting for preliminary approval. 2 photographs must be taken of the sign and provided by the applicant when sign is erected with date and stamp, the date of the meeting with the date stamp, photographic verification by staff to be provided to the commission prior to the meeting. Shall exclude family partitions and simple divisions of property up to 9 lots. Failure to meet all of the above sign requirements may result in the removal of the application from the agenda. The subdivider and/or his representative shall be present at the public hearing to explain the proposal and answer questions.
I need a motion to open public hearing, please.
Motion.
Got a motion by Councilman Adrian Thompson, second by Councilman Todd Lambert. If anyone wants to speak on this item, please come forward. You'll be allowed 3 minutes. I have one speaker. I have Mr. Billy Aguilar, please.
Thank you, Chairman and Council, for giving me the opportunity to speak again. This sign ordinance is really discriminatory against somebody trying to do a simple commercial development. They say Mr. Kamal here owns a piece of property, he wants to do a new building and subdivide the back portion of his property off. This would require him to spend $1,000 to go put this sign up in order to do a simple division of his property that requires a preliminary and final plat. And everybody keeps saying what's good for the goose is good for the gander. This excludes family petition and simple division of property up to 9 lots. If we could do it for one, let's do it for all. But I respectfully request that you deny this ordinance and not approve it. Thank you.
Catherine Goppel.
Good evening again. I think we've got some opponents. We should have some proponents for this item. I was in the subcommittee at the zoning when they made this, subdivision committee when they made this recommendation. We have some problems in the parish when there is development. The signs are small, they fall over, people don't know that something's going on. This will make it very clear to everyone. You can take a sheet of plywood, cut 2 feet off of it, put some yellow paint on it, and put your letters and numbers on it. I think this will greatly help the people who are affected by any development in the parish to be aware that a development is pending. Thank you.
I need a motion to close public hearing, please.
Motion to close.
Motion to close by Councilman Chris Lohr, second by Councilman Todd Lambert. I need a motion to approve the ordinance, please.
Question, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Councilman Todd Lambert, second by Councilman Dennis Cullen. Any discussion?
Discussion.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Councilman Johnson.
What are other parishes requiring towards this? Are we doing what's standard typically around, or what are we currently requiring? I see the change, but I don't know what we're requiring right now. Is Ricky around? Can he answer those questions?
Currently, there are no signage requirements for the subdivision of property. If you're doing a minor or a major subdivision, there's no required signage. When we do a Board of Adjustments or zoning hearing, we have a square 24 by 24 yellow sign that we go out and place on the property. We post the zoning cases in Board of Adjustments, but there's no signage requirements for subdivisions today. I don't know what other parishes do. I wasn't involved in that discussion.
Councilman Lohr?
I have a question. I'm not opposed to letting the citizens know and having a sign. I was actually curious about the 9 lots, the simple divisions. I mean, I obviously have no problems with not requiring this for family partitions. But for simple divisions of property up to 9 lots, I mean, that to me, that's a pretty big, area. That could be a minor subdivision. 9 lots is, I think, if I was a neighbor next door and to one of these lots that was going to be subdivided, have 9 houses pop up, I'd kind of want to know about that too. So I was wondering if you had any insight into the background of how that was derived.
The determination was made that if an application does not require a preliminary plat, then it did not require a sign. And a simple division of property implies that you've got enough frontage to divide your property by zoning to meet code. And so as long as you don't simply divide your property more than 9 times at a time, 9 lots at a time, that suits the requirements. And I can drive you all over this parish where one piece of property was divided 9 times, and then one of those 9 was divided 9 times, and then one of those, on and on and on. And you can get to a 40 or 50 lot subdivision, but the code doesn't address that, and that wouldn't require a sign. That is done through one final plat procedure that doesn't go to the commission. It's at staff level, and the chairman signs the plat.
Councilman Shanksnyder.
Yeah, Ricky, while you're here, at what point do we have sewer requirements? Because what you're describing is that a continuation, even, I mean, everybody's for family petitions. At what point does the state require sewer requirements on the?
The quick answer is I don't know the state's requirement. For us, if there are, I'm going to start at 9. I think the number is 9. 9 lots that are smaller than an acre, that's when we get triggered. As long as those lots that are being created are an acre or larger, they can do the individual modads on site.
I understand, but let's just say any type of division of property, as Councilman Lohr was saying, if you do a simple division of property with 9 half-acre lots, would it require a sewer system?
No, sir, because it depends on what zoning you're in. If you're in rural zoning, the minimum lot size is a half-acre. There's a minimum lot size, I think it's 16,000 square feet to have a MODAD on site. And so as long as the lots are bigger than that, then no, you're never going to be triggered to have to do a sewer system. If you crest to that number, and I believe it's 9, then we are going to look at you, and that's why the developers know that number, and we only see 9 at a time. And typically how it works. We had looked at an ordinance that I believe Livingston Parish had done that wasn't very well received when we started talking about it, but it talked about grab a date, let's just say January 1, 2006, 2005, grab a date in history and say, those are our parent tracts. And we start counting lots at that date of that parent tract. It wasn't very well received because we got into the property rights argument that, you know, somebody wants to pass land down to their children and they want to pass land down to their grandchildren. You can't count all those lots. Well, the argument could be made that a subdivision has been developed from that point moving forward. The question is, when do you start that date? When do you start counting the lots from that parent tract?
And that's the problem with we're getting into comprehensive sewer and things, is that we are seeing exactly what you're saying, is people doing simple division of property and then come back and doing simple division of property. And everybody here that I know of is for family petitions, but people actually buying property and then doing family petitions and then re-subdividing that into more family petitions, and it ends up being a subdivision, and they're getting around the subdivision requirements.
Right.
And so, you know, I know this is getting off, but it's getting into something as to what is the requirements if we're going to have someone living on a street and somebody across the street has 20 acres and they end up with 40 lots there after 2 or 3 years. Nobody's been notified, and yet if somebody comes in and starts with 40 lots, we're requiring them to do a lot of notification, which is, I'm fine. I think people ought to be notified. How can we get to that point where we're notifying properly? And I think that's important to while we're doing signs, is to make sure that everybody gets notified at some point, and I would like to see it after a certain amount, and I think that's important. And if it continues, and if it's subdivided again, they ought to we have to notify. And so I just have reservations about that. Is that something that can slip through the cracks of people not being notified? So I do have reservations. That I have no problem with people putting signs up to notify, because we've always had that issue. And trying to figure out what's the best way to solve that problem. But I do have reservations about doing that. I think that's something that needs to be addressed.
Councilman Oliver Joseph.
Ricky, my question is just based on those 9 lines. Do we reserve right-of-ways for sewage or utilities or anything if they do a subdivide? So in case in the future we have to put sewage down there, do we reserve them to put 10 foot aside for utilities?
Typically, if it's a family partition sort of situation where they're going to be accessing off of a private access servitude, there is a utility servitude that goes with that. If it's a simple division that's, let's just say, down a public road, if there's no utility servitude in place, I'm not sure that we go in and require them to place a utility servitude. But, you know, typically along most major roads, we have a utility servitude already, and that's where the simple divisions would be.
Councilman Lohr.
I'm going to offer an amendment that we change it to say simple divisions of property up to 5 lots. Obviously, it's not going to fix the problem. It's perhaps a little better, a little bit more onus on people who are trying to do end around, as we're all worried about. I mean, I'd also like, you know, if possible, for strategic planning to perhaps look at this for the planning department to see how we can close some of those loopholes we're talking about with a amendment to a future ordinance or something of that nature. But I'll offer a substitute or amendment to the original motion to change it from 9 lots to 5.
Second.
I have an amended motion by Councilman Chris Lohr, seconded by Councilman George Valentine. Any discussion? Any objection? Councilman Johnson?
I understand what that's trying to do, but I'd still like to see what we're doing in relations to other parishes along the line to make, you know, we're following the trend and doing what needs to be done. I don't have a problem with going over what they're doing, but I'd like to see what they're doing to give us a place to start. I'd like to offer a substitute motion to postpone this for a month so we can find out that information and see where we can go with this to make sure, we're at least hanging with what they're doing and making it stringent. I don't see an issue with going to the lower lots, but they may be doing it more than that to make sure that we're covering ourselves and we're not getting anybody doing exactly what we're talking about here. So we have people that are skirting around certain things within ordinances to make sure that, they're bypassing sewer or public water. Those things affect everything.
Okay.
I'll withdraw my amended motion.
Okay. Councilman Johnson, are you making that in the form of a motion?
Yes, sir.
Substitute motion. We have a motion by Councilman Benny Johnson.
Second.
Second by Councilman Dempsey Lambert. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Councilman Valentine.
Gentlemen, we're talking about signs. We're not talking about somebody going around it. We're talking about whether the general public gets a sign so they know what's going on. It doesn't have anything about somebody subverting the law. Give me a break. Come on. Look, focus on what we're doing. It's signs. And I don't see a thing wrong with requiring a sign to be put so that people that live in the area know what's going on in adjacent property.
Councilman Lohr.
And I don't either, and I think this is needed, but I don't think there's anything critically urgent at doing it right this moment. I mean, and there are some questions. I think we want to address some more serious issues that this brings up. So that's why I'm willing to withdraw my amended motion, and just I do want to vote on this in the near future, that we need to get this done.
Councilman Todd Lambert.
And I guess, Benny, you want to look at surrounding parishes, but Ascension Parish is unique in its own, and I don't think we need to compare ourselves to other parishes. And I think we need to move forward with what we want, not what others parishes want.
Okay. Any more discussion? Any objection?
Object.
Roll call, Ms. Cinnamon, please.
Councilman Cohen.
Yes.
Councilman Benny Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Joseph.
I know I've been sitting up here, but what we voting on?
Substitute.
The substitute motion or the first one, the second one?
Substitute motion.
Benny one?
To postpone.
Okay. I just want to know.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
I'll give it to you.
Councilman Dempsey Lambert.
Yes.
Councilman Todd Lambert.
No.
Councilman Lohr.
Yes.
Councilman Shake Snyder.
Yes.
Councilman Thompson.
No.
Councilman Valentine.
No. All right, Ms. Cinnamon. Okay. All right, the substitute motion is adopted. Before I get to Councilman Todd Lambert, President Martinez, you had something?
Yes, I'd like you to go back to 7-2. This is a federal grant, and, we need to award this bid.
Read it.
And I want to make sure that we do this properly.
Okay.
So it's been bid, and, we just,
I'll do it.
go ahead, Martha.
Okay, thank you. In accordance to the Community Development Block Grant requirements, Ascension Parish Purchasing Department went out for requests for qualifications for the Sorrento Sewer Improvements Project. Our purchasing department received 9 applications. On August the 24th, our Engineering Professional Selection Committee met and in review, and it was deemed that the highest ranked score went to consulting was professional engineering consultants, and we would ask that you recognize that and authorize parish president to go into negotiations for the contract.
Councilman Joseph?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we revisit item 7.
7-2.
That is,
Item 7-2.
2.
I have a motion by Councilman Oliver Joseph.
Second.
I have a second by Councilman Benny Johnson.
We're offering to accept the recommendations of the engineering committee to award it to PEC.
Yeah, we just want to officially.
And I can negotiate
Okay.
the contract.
Authorize the
This is a CBGG grant award We really have to do this the proper way. So I just want to caution you, but that's what you're voting on.
All right. First, a second, I got any more discussion? Got any objection? Motion carries.
There you go.
Todd, before.
Hold on.
That was just a.
Chairman.
Yeah, do a roll.
That was just to put it out.
Roll call, you're right.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Point of order. Councilman Joseph asked that we officially revisit
We did.
7-2. That's what we were voting on.
And I'm gonna need a roll call, Ms. Sunman.
I can't, they think I'm
Sunman.
Councilman Cullen.
Yes.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes.
Councilman Joseph.
Yes.
Councilman Dempsey Lambert. Councilman Todd Lambert.
Yes.
Councilman Lohr.
Yes.
Councilman Shake Snyder.
Yes.
Councilman Adrian Thompson.
Yes.
Councilman Valentine.
Yes.
Okay. I had the motion for reconsideration. Now I'll need a motion to approve item 7.2, please.
I move
No.
that.
To whoever the contract is, make that motion.
Martha, who is the contract?
PEC.
PEC.
Authorize the parish president to go in negotiations.
Okay.
Consulting
Okay.
for the project and to authorize Parish President Tommy Martinez to negotiate the contract.
I move that we follow the recommendations of the committee for this grant, and that we move ahead with the selection, which was PEC, so that they can go forward with this project.
Okay, I have a motion by Councilman Kent Shakespeare, second by Councilman Dennis Cullen. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. I'd like to give thanks to John Conley and Clint Falcon tonight, putting us on. Ms. Tony Foltman, thank you, ma'am. Ms. Cinnamon, Ms. Myra, thank y'all. Beth James, Sherry Kinchin, appreciate y'all. All our parish workers, the backbone of our parish, I thank y'all very much from the bottom of my heart. Thank y'all. I'd like to announce September 21st at 6 p.m. the YMCA building at Lamar Dixon. We will have another Veterans Parade meeting. We're forming up our parade right now. Everybody's invited. We putting floats together, we putting horse groups together, car groups together, fire trucks, whatever. But everybody's invited. There'll be a meal served at 6 p.m. Lamar Dixon, YMCA building. Deputy Wagonsback, you still here, sir? Thank you, sir. Got birthdays. I got Herminia Irvin, August the 6th. Carla Bourgeois, September 3rd. Ken Matassa, September 12th. And Rosalind Griffin, September 15th. Also, Miss Tony Falterman, September 12th. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Mr. Todd Lambert, please.
Motion adjourned, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to adjourn. Councilman Lambert, second by Councilman Benny Johnson.